Welcome, and thank you for joining us. I'm Laura Poppity, Program Director at the Center for Cultural Innovation, or CCI. Today, we're going to provide an overview of the SCI Artist-Innovator Fund guidelines and application, review the award's requirements and opportunities, and offer some general application tips. If you're new to CCI, we're a 501c3 nonprofit grant-making intermediary that was founded in 2001. We're headquartered in Los Angeles with an office in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we have staff throughout California and the United States. Our focus is on supporting artists and arts workers exclusively, which we do through business trainings and workshops, commissioned research, and grant-making programs. And we offer a range of regional and statewide grants, as well as national initiatives, each with a different priority, such as supporting professional development activities, new work development, and creative entrepreneurship, all of which you can learn about through the funding section of our website at www.cciarts.org. The common thread across our program is CCI's support of individual artists and arts workers. So we prioritize the flow of resources to individuals and not to organizations. Next slide. So what is the SCI Artist-Innovator Fund? Well, the fund is a CCI grant program that will award 10 grants of up to $8,500 for a total of $85,000 to individual artist entrepreneurs with spinal cord injuries who are inspired to innovate by the possibilities and benefits that are offered through the experience of pursuing a creative practice and living with spinal cord injury. 2023 marks the third round of the SCI Artist-Innovator Fund, which was first offered in 2019 and has since awarded $150,000 to 20 grantees with SCI across the country. And I'm thrilled to share that the 2023 funding round has increased the award amount to $8,500 from $7,500, which was the award amount in the past two funding rounds. In addition, CCI has partnered with the Minneapolis College of Art and Design's Entrepreneurial Studies program to provide grantees with opportunities to test their ideas, build their networks, and seek guidance from practitioners and peers. And I'll talk more about that later. Next slide. So what does the SCI Artist-Innovator Fund support? It supports applicants whose projects are a product, service, or innovation inspired by the applicant's SCI experience. Projects can be in the idea phase, ready to come to life, or a work in progress needing funding to move forward. The project has to have the potential to develop into self-sustaining, revenue-generating activities. It should enable the applicant to deepen an artistic, creative, artisanal, or cultural practice. And the project should have a positive social impact upon a specified place-based and/or identity-based community or population. Next slide.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Barajas, Program Associate at CCI, supporting our grants team. Throughout our presentation, we'll be sharing brief profiles of previously supported SCI Artist-Innovator Fund grantees. First, we have Kemel Arroyo, a 2019 grantee from New York City, who uses Jan's background to create aerodynamic waterproof rain gear designed for a person in a seated position such as a wheelchair. In this image, we see a Latino man with dark curly chin-length hair and glasses. He's seated in a wheelchair and looks off into the distance. He's wearing his two-piece solution for rain protection in a vibrant orange color against a blue background. You can learn more about the fund's 2019 and 2021 grantees by visiting CCI's SCI Artist-Innovator funding page, where there are links to the press releases from both years towards the bottom of the page. So, next slide. So we're looking at the fund's timeline in this slide, beginning with the application opening last week on Tuesday, April 4th. The deadline to submit your application is Tuesday, June 6, 2023 at 12 p.m. noon time, Pacific time. So funding notifications will be shared on August 1st by 5 p.m. Pacific time. And the grant period of support will be August 1st, 2023 to July 30th of 2024. Finally, CCI will host a required virtual gathering for all grantees in early September 2023. We'll tell you more about the gatherings shortly. The next slide. To be eligible for considerations, applicants must be an individual living with spinal cord injury, and we use the criteria set by the Craig H. Nielsen Foundation, which supports this grant opportunity. The foundation considers those with SCI to be individuals with neurological and functional impairment due to traumatic SCI degenerative disease primary to the spinal cord, transverse myelitis, or damage to the spinal cord due to tumors and surgery. Individuals with spinal dysfunction, paralysis, or pain syndromes caused by other disorders are not eligible. For example, multiple sclerosis, ALS, Chiari malformation, and other developmental disorders, primary orthopedic disorders, and peripheral nerve injury. Applicants must also live and work in the United States or its territories, and they must self-define as an artist, maker, creative, or culture bearer, or their project should demonstrate deep and sustained refining that reflects a craft, cultural, or artistic practice. Additionally, SCI applicants may be a part of a team, but only if the applicant is the primary owner and lead. Next slide. The following are ineligible for consideration: organizations including nonprofits, enterprise development, or businesses without a social impact purpose, anyone living and working outside of the United States and its territories, and applicants who have a conflict of interest. That means family or financial relationship with the board, staff, or directors of the Center for Cultural Innovation. Additionally, incomplete applications and applications with inaccessible attachments, for example, password protected, broken links, will not be reviewed. Next slide. In this slide, we have 2021 grantee Emily Barker from Los Angeles, California. Emily received funding to complete construction of the first prototype of Moving Parts, a fully sustainable green energy wheelchair accessible tiny house that will serve as an artist residency and be used to sell units to artist residencies whose housing is inaccessible. The image we see is a still taken from KCET Public Broadcasting's Artbound short films, one of which, entitled Art in the Name of Accessibility, featured Emily. Emily is a white woman wearing a green face mask with brown braids framing either side of her face. She's in the middle of assembling something in plastic or plexiglass. There's a closed caption at the bottom of the image that reads, I love installing and building. Next slide.
Before we talk about review criteria, let's briefly touch on who will be reviewing applications. To review and score applications, CCI will invite panelists with various backgrounds and expertise. They'll reflect diverse cultural, gender, and experiential backgrounds, such as an artist with SCI, a creative social and business entrepreneur, an investor, or someone with community development experience. The panel will assess proposals via the following review criteria, which are related to the previous slide, or one of the previous slides where we talked about what the SCI Artist-Innovator Fund supports. So the first question we'll ask is the project innovative? Next, does the project reflect or further the applicant's artistic, creative, craft, or cultural practice? Does the project have a feasible business plan? Does the project have the potential to develop into self-sustaining revenue? And will the project have a positive social impact? Next slide.
Here we have 2021 grantee Andre Johnson from Chicago, Illinois. Andre received funding to pilot test and build out a sales and marketing campaign for Live Equipped, a web-based platform for organizations to streamline their equipment procurement process. The platform also created a resource for organizations to promote healthy outcomes for their patients with paralysis-related disabilities. In the slide image, we see an African-American man wearing a blue shirt and beige chinos, sitting in a wheelchair with blue accents. He's on stage pitching his company at the 1871 Latinx Demo Day in Chicago, Illinois, in December of 2019. Next slide.
We're going to talk about the application. First, just to let you know, applications will be accepted only through CCI's submittable platforms, and applicants must create an account in Submittable before they will be able to start the grant application. You can access the application link from the SCI Artist-Innovator Fund page on our website, but if you need an alternative format, please contact CCI. The application collects contact information, a proposal summary, contracting and award processing information, optional demographic survey responses, narrative responses, and additional attachments. We're going to focus on the narrative questions, and your responses to these can be up to 350 words, which is roughly 3 to 4 paragraphs. Questions include, number 1, how will you use the funds? We want you to describe what you seek to do with funding and how funding will advance your goals for your innovation, that is, get you to the next level. Be specific about what you intend to accomplish with CCI support during the funding period. And note that funding must be used within CCI's grant period of August 1st, 2023 through July 30th, 2024. Number 2, your practice. First, describe if and how you self-define as an artist. If you do not self-define as an artist, you may instead describe how your proposed innovation reflects an artistic or creative practice. Next, explain your process for making the product or service, with an emphasis on describing the aspects of creativity, problem solving, and the process of refinement that make your proposed innovation a unique artistic, cultural, or creative expression. Number 3, social impact. Describe what social impact you will achieve through your innovation, including its impact on your community or communities. Include in your response who this innovation is meant to help or serve, and how you will know if your innovation has a positive social impact. Number 4, financial independence. Describe how this project will realize revenues and how this project will develop into a self-sustaining source of income. Number 5, friends and networks. Describe the types of people you have that will support your vision and help you reach your goals. And you can include names or identify types of people anonymously. Share enough to give us an understanding of your personal, professional, and social networks that may help you realize your innovation. And lastly, number 6, biographies. And for this question, you have a limit of 500 words. Provide a brief narrative bio that includes your qualifications for this project. If you are part of a larger team, describe their roles and capabilities for this project. Next slide. In addition to your narrative, applicants will need to prepare the following items. You'll have first your project budget, and this is required. You're limited to 1 page for your budget. The project budget should show your anticipated expenses, and if they exceed the grant award amount of $8,500, you want to show the additional income that you have pending, secured, or that you've identified as a prospective source of funding. And for your reference, we have a sample project budget template on the SCI Artist-Innovator funding page. Next, you're required to complete a video. The video has to be 90 seconds, and we ask for a video as it allows panelists to get to know you and what inspired your innovation. There are specific prompts for you to address in the video, and you can find these in the application preview on the funding website. We've also prepared a 1-page document, video tips, and that has helpful hints, and that's also available on the SCI funding page. The next required item is the business matrix. You're again limited to just 1 page, and you have to use the provided template. And what you'll see in the matrix is that it collects high-level information about various areas of your business. Your responses to these are meant to be brief. They can be incomplete sentences or bullet points, but they should be clearly understood. The next item is optional, and it's letters of support, and you can submit up to 2 letters. The letters may be notes of intended commitment from investors, partners, or key stakeholders, as well as professional recommendations from community leaders, neighborhood council representatives, or local business associations that can speak to the merit of your qualifications, the value of the proposed project, and or the impact of the proposed outcomes. And just so you know, those are examples. You can go beyond what we've cited. Finally, we have supplemental materials, again, an optional item. You're able to upload a maximum of 4 pages total. As examples, you might share images of your innovative product, a due diligence report on your enterprise, or a certificate from your local neighborhood association attesting to your contributions. Again, these are just examples. Feel free to share anything beyond that. Next slide.
In this slide, we have 2021 grantee Ryan Gabauer from Coral Springs, Florida, who received support to create promotional materials and utilize software to produce an online training for CARES, an acronym for Certified Accessibility Real Estate Specialist course, which educates real estate professionals on accessibility, enable them to help people with disabilities find accessible housing. In this slide, we see a photo of Ryan. He's a white man who's smiling and looking directly at the camera. He is wearing a light blue shirt and he's seated in his wheelchair. Behind him are multiple desk monitors with images of maps and the CARES course logo. Next slide. So if you're awarded a grant, we want you to be aware of how funding will be distributed, the optional engagement with MCAT, and what your requirements are as a grantee. First, funding distribution. So CCI typically distributes awards as follows. 90% of the funds are distributed upon signing of the grant agreement, and the remaining 10% of the funds are distributed upon satisfactory submission of the final deliverables. But we understand that fund disbursement may impact disability-related supports. Therefore, we can work with grantees individually to determine a payment plan that works for them. Now, the Minneapolis College of Art and Design, or MCAT. So CCI has partnered with MCAT's Entrepreneurial Studies program to provide SCI Artist-Innovator Fund grantees with opportunities to test their ideas, build their networks, and seek guidance from practitioners and peers. Grantees may participate in individual and group online coaching sessions with MCAT faculty to address specific business needs and questions around their developing project. Grantees may also present their projects and solicit feedback or ideas from MCAT faculty and students from the entrepreneurial studies and potentially other programs. Participation in this is optional. So the gathering. The grantees are required to attend a virtual gathering in early September 2023. The gathering will be an opportunity to meet other grantees, share information about each other's project, and build a national network of fellow artist innovators with SCI. In addition, MCAT representatives will in attendance. MCAT representatives will in attendance share more details about possible programming. And lastly, the final report. Grantees are required to prepare and submit a final report detailing the use and impact of the funds. Reports will be due July 30th of 2024 through the submittable platform. Details will be provided in the grant agreement. Next slide. So the last artist innovator we'd like to highlight today is 2019 grantee Kevin Bailey from Raleigh, North Carolina. Kevin used funding to create a prototype of a device that allows a drummer with spinal cord injury to operate a hi-hat pedal on the drum set with the drummer's mouth as opposed to having to use their foot. In this slide, we see a photo of the prototype of the device, which looks like a small black metal box connected to a plastic tube. There are small illuminated notes on the box label with the words set, down, up, cal, and better. Next slide. So we have a few basic tips to help you with your SCI Artist-Innovator Fund application and your applications to other funders in general. First, we recommend that you review all the ephemera, including the guidelines, the application preview, video tips, the business matrix, profiles of competitive applicants, the frequently asked questions form, and this webinar, which you can watch as many times as you need to. Be clear and to the point, avoid responses that are overly technical or dense or abstract. Have a friend or someone else in your circle look over your application to see if there are any important details that were left out or whether anything in your application is unclear. Finally, we encourage you to reach out to CCI staff. You can reach out to us with any questions by phone at 415-288-0530, or you can email us at grants@cciarts.org. Our hours are 9 to 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. And that concludes our presentation for today. Thank you so much for watching.